Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the Daily Trust. The major story here says, ECOWAS crisis, Nigeria at receding end. Citizens will require visas to travel across exiting countries. Terrorists might up their game, security experts are saying. We would be poorer, dons reacting. And at the top corner, Naira plunges to 1,500 to a dollar at parallel market. UK suspends British-Nigerian minister for calling Israel's actions genocide. Supreme Court, Cabinet governor denies striking deal with Tinubu. Some of the stories you find on the front page of the Daily Trust. We move now to the New Telegraph. And the major story here, Southern Kaduna Christian leaders to Tinubu declare state of emergency on insecurity to restore law and order, asks North Central governors to float security outfit. Zamfara solicits media support in fight against banditry. Insecurity, constitution amendment, electoral reforms, top priorities as reps resume plenary today. You find all of these stories on page 3, 5, 6, and 26 of the New Telegraph. And at the downstrip here, we have INEC, 4.6 million to vote in February, the third by-elections. Gubapool will ensure PDP retains Edo, what Fang is saying. And don't create problems for my government. Fubara wants pro-WK appointees, swearing here as Chief of Staff, 5 others. And Wahito contractors, governors must certify jobs before payment. And at the top corner, Samulu Mbadiri, others bag awards. INE window Nigerians in dilemma as Naira plunges to record 1,348.63 to a dollar. CBN clears another forex liabilities backlog, releases $500 million to various sectors. And there is a report here saying that Dangote turns to US for crude supply to refinery. And the story has been generating some controversy. You might want to get more details. We'll move to the West newspaper now. Suspected herdsmen kill 2 traditional rulers in Ekiti. A really sad story there. And another story here says Lagos issues 5-day quit notice to Ijora Causeway Bridge, Blue Line, overhead bridge, squatters. Alleged 2.5 billion naira fraud, more troubles for Uluomo as EFCC drags impeached Ogun Speaker to court. And well, those are some of the stories you find on the front page of the West newspaper. We move to this Nigerian newspaper now. 45 terrorists wiped out in Kaduna military airstrike. Army hands over 35 rescued kidnapped victims to Governor Rada. And downstrip insecurity, FCT storms tunnels, green areas as police rescue 3 abducted persons in Abuja. Stop distracting Tinubu's Southern elders, caution senators. Uyebanji others investigation as gunmen murdered 2 Ekiti monarchs. Some of the stories you find on the front page of this Nigerian newspaper. To the Nation newspaper now, security men raise bar in battle against kidnappers. Air Force bombs terrorists. Army police rescue scores from abductors. 2 traditional rulers killed in Ekiti. Policeman in Imo. Mother-daughter murdered in FCT. And those are some of the stories you find on the front page of the Nation newspaper. I'll move quickly now to the front page of the Blueprints newspaper. And a major story here, terrorism war. Dominant operative skill 30 bandits, rescue 40 abductees. In Abuja residents celebrates hill development. FCT police bust kidnap syndicate sets victims free. Minimum wage, federal workers kick. Tinubu inaugurates committee today. We won't extend ultimatum, says Workers Forum. some of the stories you find on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. We move now to the front page of the Vanguard. The major story here says insecurity. Kidnappers shoot at moving vehicle. Man abducted, wife injured. And the story explains that the kidnappers kidnapped 3 victims spraying at Karamu Mountain, Abuja. The police, SRS rescue victims at Kuje Forest. Those are some of the stories you find there. ECOWAS, we are ready to engage Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger. Federal government is saying exit or compromise, strict delay, return to civil rule. Akinyemi, Akintari, and others are saying. Okay, quickly now to the front page of the Punch. Kidnapping epidemic. Over 17,000 Nigerians abducted under Buhari. Tinubu, a report is saying, and it says 90%, Buhari 90%, Tinubu 10%, abductors killed 2 Ekiti monarchs, source is saying. Federal government, US signed MOU to train police special squad commanders. And it says here again that the downstream that 8,285 candidates sit computer-based WASI January 31st. That's tomorrow. Some stories you find there on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Ibrahim.
Salient Times is the first with me. Dangote refinery goes for U.S. crude in first purchase. 72-year-old retired soldier commits suicide in Benue. Insecurity. Benue moves to restore lasting peace to crisis areas. Tinubu host Daniel Bwala, Atiku's former raid in France. And above the masthead, LNG-powered cargo vessel arrives Lagos, first to sail to West Africa. Oyo Park chair not abducted but arrested for attempted murder. The UK-based Nigerian woman, Belumi Nubi, set to drive from London to Lagos. NBS sues Culture Minister Musawa and Kenny Ogumbe over alleged violation of NYC Act. Former Ogun Speaker Oluomo, others arraigned over alleged 2.5 billion naira fraud. First news is next. CBN gives forex market fresh $500 million lifeline to settle all legitimate foreign exchange backlogs, increase liquidity in forex market. Authorized dealers reporting false FX transaction details, says Apex Bank, as Naira trades at 1,348 to the dollar at official market, highest ever. Ibadan Blast, article commiserated with victims or your government spokesman. LNG powered cargo vessel arrives Lagos first to sail to West Africa. Now, court adjourns Nnamdi Kanu's 50 billion naira suit against federal government. Mali, Burkina Faso send ECOWAS formal notice of withdrawal as Nigeria expresses concern, says will remain open for engagement. On the bottom strip, suspected herdsmen kill 2 Ekiti monarchs, others flee. And on the ear of the newspaper, Fubara reads the Rights Act to pro-Wike commissioners, says, "Don't destroy my government," as APC accuses Rivers governor of flouting Tinubu's peace deal. Impeached Ogun Speaker Oluomo, 2 others arraigned over 2.5 billion naira fraud, walks out on Assembly's probe panel. That's fresh worry. Okay, I've taken that. Next is Nigerian News Direct. Forex backlog, CBN pumps additional $500 million. Above the masthead, appointments. Rivers Assembly accused Fubara of tyranny, misconduct. Federal government to constitute 37-man committee on minimum wage today. Largest LNG-powered vessel berths at Lekki Port. And diaspora investment scheme, Optiva Capital failed to follow due process. NITCOM insists. And then 4 days after kidnap, Lagos PDP chairman regains freedom. That's about it for the Nigerian News Direct. Next is the Daily Times. CBN injects $500 million to clear FX backlog as Naira sinks to 1,455 Naira to the dollar. Government urged to sell moribund assets to raise needed FX. Federal government seeks support in food security, job creation. Supreme Court reserves judgment in Benani's appeal against Governor Fintiri. EFCC arraigns impeached Speaker, 2 others for alleged 2.5 billion naira fraud. Poor visibility. NCAA cautions pilots, airlines. Yamo bags Munich Airport's international recognition. And above the masthead, Niger records 18% national identity attacks in 2023. This is according to report. And the last but not least, here is the Guardian newspaper with a kicker: single-use plastics ban in Lagos. Businesses shop for alternatives. Advocate incentivized recycling. Businesses shop for alternatives. Advocate incentivized recycling. 2,423 people killed, 1,872 kidnapped in 8 months under Tinubu. Nigeria, Ghana lead West Africa's identity fraud cases. Ogun, from rising industrial hub to den of cultists, criminals. EFCC arraigns impeached Speaker over alleged 2.5 billion naira fraud. And lastly, money supply grows by 50% in 12 months, compounds inflation. That's about it for the newspapers up for review this morning.
All right, so many stories on the front page this morning. Security dominating the front pages of the papers. There are those talking about declaration of a state of emergency, to addressing this matter of insecurity across the country. So many issues and perspectives from different sectors or cross-section of Nigerians with regards to what the government can do to address matters of security. But we will be discussing this extensively after the break.